Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of our podcast with me, Milan, and Barney.
Hey
And
yo.
today we have our very first guest, Ina.
Hi, my name is Ina.
Yay!
Should I introduce myself? Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
just who are you? What are you
Um,
doing here?
yeah, no, just random guys invited me, so that's why I'm here.
We
I
met
know.
Ina on the streets and we asked, you want to be on a podcast? She said, yeah, sure. So-
Yes, exactly. That's my dream. Okay, to be serious, yeah, I work at Central Perk. I think people might know me from Meditation Mondays and also from Self Improvement Saturdays. So, and today I'm here to talk with you. Yeah.
yes, yes. And where are you from, Ina?
Yeah, I'm from Russia, from the capital.
The,
I live in the outskirts of Moscow.
that's so cool.
And yeah, I study IHM hospitality management and currently finishing my second year. Yeah.
Nice. How do you like it? The course that you do your second year.
I really like what I study. I think hospitality is a very broad field, so I enjoy it a lot.
Hmm.
Before I wanted to study medicine, to be honest, but at one point I just changed my mind and decided to study something else,
And
like
why?
related to business or something.
Do you know
Yeah.
why? Why did you change your mind? Was it something in particular, or did you just thought this is nothing for me? I'm gonna do something else.
To be honest, at that point when I changed my mind, it was my last grade at school in Russia,
Mm.
and I just simply changed it because I hated chemistry. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing
Makes
is,
sense, makes sense.
oh, maybe you can relate. I don't know.
Oh, very much. Yeah, I remember when I was going for my HAVO diploma, which is sort of like a middle school diploma. I did later on. I had to do eight courses as well. History and geography and
Oh,
math and stuff. And one of them was chemistry as well. And I just showed up for class. I did nothing, and I left again because I couldn't understand it. I just couldn't wrap my head around all the chemicals, and then they bond, and then they form new chemicals and everything, and I just hated it.
yeah,
I
me too. It's
I
so
completely
disgusting.
relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you want to do with your hospitality? Do you have anything like a future vision, your own bed and breakfast or something?
Oh, well, usually my friends know me as a person who knows everything in advance. Like I plan 10 years in advance.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely want to work in hospitality industry. That's something I really love. But I'm not really seeing myself like working for a company or someone else, but more like self-employed.
Okay.
So I want to be an entrepreneur and to start my own hospitality business. Yeah.
Nice. Nice,
So
nice,
come.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I always wanted to have like a beach cafe, like those boulevard beach house cafe things. I always thought it was so awesome, but then you realize you live in the Netherlands and there's only one beach and there's barely any sun, so that's my dream
Oh.
gone.
Ina, do you have any experience regarding entrepreneurship, or why is that the thing that you want to do, you want to
Yeah.
pursue?
The thing is, in my childhood, I was always told that I could be a really good doctor, but I think because my parents are doctors and they're like, okay, you have to be a doctor as well.
Stay in the J, keep
Um,
it in the family.
yeah, and also my grandmother and my grandfather are also doctors, so I was kind of not like forced, but they
Mm,
really wanted me to be
yeah.
to go into the same industry basically. And the second option was to become a businesswoman. That's what I was also told in childhood because of my character. So due to my harsh character, how people say,
Oh
they
yeah.
think I can manage people. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
can testify for that, for all the meetings
Oh,
we've had.
oh my God, that's scary.
No, not in a bad way, but you know what you want, and that's good. You're very clear in your intentions, and that's something I don't have. I mean, you say like you've planned your 10 years ahead. I don't even know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I just let things come to me and handle them as they come.
Yeah, like my friends, also people who know me, they want to learn more about planning and organization. But I can also tell you that I have something to learn from you guys because for me it is very difficult to relax, for example,
Mm.
and just to take my mind off something. So I really need to learn how to take some time off for myself because I totally forget about it. So
It's very important. Like I can be your teacher because I do nothing but relax, which is a very dangerous thing as well. But it's
I
very.
think you shouldn't teach that.
I will teach you my ways. Follow
oh yeah,
me.
please do. Mm.
No, but yeah, it's definitely something I could learn as well, the planning and stuff. Because since the beginning of my school career, if you so to speak, all my teachers have always been saying like, you have to plan, you have to think ahead, and what are you gonna do then and then, and they always, every single teacher always told me the same thing, and I never really learned from it. I just can't plan. Even when I finally do make a planning, I just don't stick to it because I just still procrastinate. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it after dinner and stuff like that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Ah well. So, um,
But I have a question, like how
mhm.
usually teachers treat you here in the Netherlands? Because in Russia, it is very harsh, and usually our teachers tell us, you won't become no one if you don't study. If you
Really?
don't pass this exam, you will be, I don't know, you will clean the streets or whatever.
And they
Oh
also
wow.
say suka bliat.
Oh my God, no, please,
Barney.
come on.
Only the gamers say that. No, but yeah, in the Netherlands, it's very open. You have this thing like you can become whatever you want, and everyone's very open and kind. I mean,
Yeah,
like scaring people isn't very. They're not scaring you. Just if you don't do your best here, you're gonna become nothing. They most likely go. They're like, okay, if you don't do your best here, then what do you want to do then? Why aren't you motivated? What is something that you would like to do? So it's pretty open and friendly here, but I think
mm,
it also depends on where you're from because I grew
yeah,
up in Leeuwarden, which is the northern part of the Netherlands, and it's quite calm and very down to earth part of the Netherlands. But when you
mm-hmm.
compare it, I think to the Randstad, where all the big cities are, Rotterdam and Amsterdam and stuff, I think there is a lot more teachers the way that you say it because I think it's much more competitive there in the Randstad, where there's a lot more kids going to school with a lot more hopes and dreams. So I think they are more motivating in the Randstad, like they are in Russia, Russian teachers in the
Yeah.
Netherlands. But where I grew up, they were pretty laid back and relaxed. Maybe that's where my problem comes from.
But it is very nice. They are very supportive. I mean, you shouldn't expect support, I think, from our teachers. But still, we have very nice education. At least when we come to study abroad from Russia, we are not very struggling because we know how harsh we need to study in Russia. And in
Yeah.
comparison to Russia, here we don't face such big problems with the studying anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that because one thing that I'm sometimes, well, not necessarily afraid of, but I'm aware of is how extremely competitive some countries can be. Like for example, China and
Yeah,
Russia and India. If you don't get the best grades of the class, then you're already lagging behind a lot
yeah,
after the other
yeah,
kids. And
yes.
I knew that if I were to grow up in India and act the way that I do now, I wouldn't keep up with the other kids, if you know what I mean. So
Hmm.
yeah, I can slack in the Netherlands because people are very supportive here and stuff. But I think in a very competitive environment like India or China or Russia, I don't think I would do very good, honestly, because I don't have the
Yeah.
motivation. I guess I don't know. What about you, Barney? Are you a very
Yeah,
competitive learner?
yeah, I think so. I am. Yeah,
Yes.
I actually want to. Yeah, just compete with others. Just be better.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the best
but
grade in
I'm
class?
interested. Like, sorry.
You want to get the best grade in class?
Yeah, not necessary, but get
More for
get the best
yourself, the
out of
best
what
grade.
I can do. Yeah,
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 exactly, for yourself.
yeah. So yeah, but I'm interested. Like, how did everything go with moving here? I mean, of course, you are not part of EU. Like, was it an easy thing to do to just come from Russia to study here?
Oh my God, such a pain. I'm not from EU. Oh my God. Yeah. No, seriously, because of this, I face quite a lot of problems. But yeah, that's a good question. I know that many students who move to study abroad to another countries are kind of stressing out a little bit because they don't know exactly what to expect. It never happened to me because before I came here, I already studied in Great Britain, in Germany, South Korea. So I was kind of experienced, and it was just a new journey for me. I was very curious about everything, and I wanted actually to study in Germany because I lived there for 2 years. But unfortunately, they don't have hospitality programs, so I had to find something else. And then my mom and I, we just figured out accidentally, to be honest, on internet that there is a very good hospitality education in the Netherlands, and I really liked Stendon, so basically that's why I'm here, and that's how I moved. But I didn't stress out at all. It was so easy for me, and I remember that my parents wanted me to help with moving, but yeah, I'm kind of independent woman. At
Strong
least,
woman.
yeah, I said that I will be glad if they come, but a little bit later because I prefer to do the first steps always by myself.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's why I decided to do it by myself to come here.
So you've studied in Germany, in the Netherlands, in what other countries did you say?
Great Britain and South Korea.
Great Britain
Yeah,
and South Korea.
maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit because you
Yeah.
went really smooth on that. Like I studied here, and there.
Like it's nothing, you know. I'll just travel the world and study this and in South Korea. And which country was your favorite? Like which was the
Oh,
best?
I mean, South Korea is my love forever. Yeah, but my traveling journey actually started with Great Britain. I was 13. It was my
What?
first solid. Yeah.
You were
So
13 and you went to Great
yeah,
Britain
yeah,
on
yeah.
your own.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. So
Russians,
yeah,
man.
that was my first travel. Then in 1 year, when I was 14, I traveled again to Great Britain. And then at the same year, I traveled to Germany twice, also for study purposes. Every journey was for study purposes, so it
But
wasn't like I wanted to learn about the cultures, but it was like specifically to learn the language or something.
okay, but like when you're 13 or 14, you go to like high school and stuff, right? It's not very
Yes.
usual when you're 13 or 14 or and you're in high
Uh,
school to go to other countries to study.
yes. So in Russia, we have, I don't know how it is in the Netherlands, but in Russia, summer vacation
Hmm.
lasts 3 months. So June, July, and August. And usually I went during the summer vacation.
Oh, so you went in your own free time to study in other countries, basically.
Uh, yeah. So
Sort
yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yes, there were a couple of times when I went during the semester, like during the
Hmm.
study process, but it wasn't that often. No, it was only twice, maybe or something. Because I went to Great Britain twice, then I also went to Germany twice, and then my parents suggested me to stay in Germany for longer. So I stayed there for 2 years. I was studying in high school,
Sheesh.
and it was at the beginning horrible. Like, I'm not kidding, it was horrible because when I came there, my German was so basic. So of course it was insufficient in order to study biology, chemistry, history,
Yeah,
and all this,
I get that.
stuff in German. So I was struggling a lot, especially during the first lessons when the teacher was asking me something and I was just staring at him like, what do you want from me?
Enough,
Yeah,
please answer the question. Huh? What?
yeah, but
Excuse me?
like at the beginning I didn't even get the grades because they knew that it was very challenging for me, but
Yeah.
afterwards I actually became a very diligent and good student, so it was fine. And also during my study in Germany, I studied in Russian school at the same time. The thing is, my parents, they didn't want me to quit a Russian school because they were not sure if I wanted to stay in Germany afterwards.
Okay.
So we decided to keep my study in Russia as well. So I was a full-time student in Germany
Sheesh.
and I was a homeschooled student in Russia. And every time when I had my vacation, not vacation, yeah, vacation in German school, I went back to Russia in order to pass my Russian exams.
Sheesh, man. And then you were like 14 or 15 or something.
I was 15, 15, 16, yeah.
So when I was 15, I went to school and I got home and I played video games and I went to bed.
I wish I could do it.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
so it was very hard because I had to study at the beginning, like in Russian school. At the same time, I traveled abroad to study to learn English. Then I studied at two schools in Germany and Russia, and I think all of these aspects made me such diligent and
Oh
hardworking
yeah,
person.
definitely.
Because I mean, you need to learn it, otherwise you cannot combine two studies at the same time.
And I think as well, what really helps is that because you worked so hard at a very young age, you saw the results of hard work very early, and that it does pay out if you work hard, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course.
that it really motivates you to keep working hard, to keep seeing those results and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, my only results were very good scores in video games, so I kept playing video games, and my grades were all right. But how's that? Because when you're 15, you're sort of you're a teenager and stuff. How was it to make friends and stuff? Because I guess you left a lot of friends in Russia, right?
Yes, yes. I left a lot of people there in
Yeah.
Russia. Had to find some new people. To be honest, was challenging.
Yeah.
Uh, not due to the language, no, because the basic language I could speak about daily conversations and daily stuff.
Oh,
But the challenge was that I was pretty different from students there. Like it's not very nice to talk about negative experience, but
yeah, I get it.
how to say it nicely? Like the people I lived with, other German students,
Yeah.
they preferred to hang out a lot, and there were also a few people who took drugs, kind of,
Oh, right.
and they drank. And I was like a very calm, calm girl who was staying in bed in the evenings and reading books and learning German instead.
Right. Yeah.
And they kind of hated me for this because, I mean, they lived with me in the same room. They wanted to have fun, but they kind of couldn't because I was
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I see. Cause yeah, okay. Cause they had to share the room with you and had to keep you
Yeah,
into account, but then it sort of slowed them down in terms of having fun. I get that, but things happen, and I mean, you got your results. You studied there. You've done your thing. You're back now where you are, and like you said, you're now a very
yeah,
resilient career woman, a businesswoman, and it
yeah,
paid off. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see, look back, like where are they now, and
yeah. I
see
also
that
asked this question. Yeah,
how further you are than them, maybe.
yeah. But what about your experience? Have you experienced something like this, like the negative attitude towards you from other people?
Everyone loves Barney.
Um, I mean, bullying was always part of like school, like
Hmm.
Definitely,
just
yeah.
just, just generally. Of course, it happened to me a few times, but it wasn't such a big deal, I think. But yeah, bullying is always such an
But
issue
for example,
in every country, I think.
Yeah.
when you got to the Netherlands, what, like last year or something, right, Barney?
Um,
Or
yeah,
2 years ago or something?
2018,
Did
2018.
did you find any like big differences in your culture and Dutch culture that maybe clashed, or that they didn't really understand, or that you didn't really understand, or did it go quite easily?
Mm, yeah, I mean, it was also really easy for me to adapt.
Hmm.
Like what Ina also said, that yeah, it wasn't such a big deal for me to move, even though lots of people and my parents said like, "Oh, what a big deal! Like you're moving to England or something." But yeah, I don't really think that there were too many things. Maybe that I always say that Dutch people are more open-minded to just new
Yeah,
stuff,
that's true. Yeah.
and
What I hear
yeah,
a
they are
lot
all.
is I went to I have some friends in England, in near Newcastle, and when I got there the first time, they were all very shocked at how straightforward I was. Like Dutch people can be very straightforward, and people often find it very rude. When Dutch people don't like it, they'll just tell you they don't like it. And that was a
Okay.
big thing that they had to get used to me, because I was very straightforward. I said immediately what I thought and what I thought about things, and they had to get used to that. And I myself had to get used to it as well, because if someone didn't know me and they didn't know I was Dutch, not that it's an excuse, but if they didn't know who I was, they could find it very offensive, some stuff I said, even though I didn't really mean it as offensive. It was more of an honesty thing. I respect you
Yeah.
so much that I'm honest with you. Did you, well, you both of you actually, did you notice that as well from Dutch people? Like very straightforward, very, you know, rude sometimes, maybe even.
And
But
personally, I'm not really. I don't know. What about you, Ina?
um, no, I mean, Russian people are also very straightforward.
Okay, yeah.
I was never even thinking about saying that Dutch people are straightforward. I
Really?
don't know.
Oh, because
No.
from what I know, that Dutch people can be very rude and straightforward because we are very honest,
uh,
and it's a thing as well when Dutch people go to, for example, to the USA to work, in management positions or whatever. In
mhm.
the United States, it's very common in business life, for example, when you pitch an idea to your manager or to your directives, and they're all like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, you're doing fantastic," and they end up not doing your idea just because they're so, they're nice and kind and want to stay in
Yeah.
a good relationship with you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Hmm.
when you're at a Dutch company and you pitch an idea, your boss will just say, "No, that's a terrible idea. We're not going to do that." And they're not afraid to hurt your feelings, and that's a big difference with Dutch people, I guess. But for me, as a Dutch person, it's very normal, and I expect that the same. So, if I were to go to America, for example, I would think that people were very fake, if you know what I mean, because they're not telling me exactly what they think, but they're trying to be nice, which I would appreciate more if people were just honest and tell me what they would think.
Yeah, to be honest, I really appreciate this characteristic because I prefer when people are straightforward and they explain explicitly what they want and what they think, because otherwise you need to guess all the time. For example, from what I know, like Asian people, they usually, yeah, they cannot express themselves that openly,
Hmm.
and it is always kind of a challenge. I also know it because I was in South Korea for a while, and it is always a challenge. You have to think, okay, what he wanted to say, okay, what I need to do now. So
You have
yeah.
to think about all the interpretations that they can.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that would drive me insane. I would just because you become a little bit more insecure about yourself. I think because you give them ideas or you pitch an idea and you're not sure how they receive it, and you just have to guess for yourself, kind of.
Yeah, it is easier to improve yourself or your project if you know exactly what the feedback is.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't ever studied abroad. Even I mean, in the third year you could go on the grand tour, right? To what
Oh
was it?
yeah. Do you want to go on Grand Tour?
No, I don't know. It never really took my interest because I don't know. I've been in a lot of countries already in Europe, especially, and I have my apartment here. I have my girlfriend here. I have my cats here. I have my friends here. So
Oh my.
it never really piqued my
That's such a
interest.
poor excuse.
Why?
Yes. But
Oh,
like, I think the most important that the person feels comfortable and cozy. Like, if you
yeah,
feel like living all your life in one small village, please do so and be happy.
Well,
It's your life.
it's not that I'm scared to leave or anything. I mean, I would love to leave, but I don't really see the benefit in going to the other way of other place in the world to study what I can study from the comfort of my own home, if you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
if I want to go to a different country, I'll just go in my spare time with all the free time and money I have, instead of going there for school, I guess.
yeah,
Like for example, South Africa. I would love to go to South Africa on a grand tour,
Mhm.
but I'd rather save up my own money and go in my own time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's
So yeah.
that's a good point. But do you want like to stay in Leeuwarden later on, or maybe you will move to
Mm,
others?
I don't know. I love my city. I love Leeuwarden. So it's
That's
gonna
so
be
cool.
hard because I love to go to Amsterdam. But whenever I leave Amsterdam, I'm always happy that I left Amsterdam because it's so incredibly crowded there and
Yeah.
it's so busy and it's so big. And I love big cities. I hate little villages because around Leeuwarden you have tons of like small little villages. With like 1,000 to 5,000 people
Mm.
living there. And I hate those. They're way too calm and they're empty and they're boring and I would never want to live there. But Leeuwarden is like sort of a perfect mix between a big city and a small village because you see a lot of people that you recognize a lot of people. It's small enough that you can get really familiar with it, but it's big
Mm.
enough to sort of get lost in, if you know what I mean. So that's why I
Yeah.
really like Leeuwarden. And I don't know, I grew up here, so I'd rather stay here and live here, but you never know what the future brings. If there's a very good job opportunity somewhere else, I might have to think about it a couple of times, but I prefer to just stay here. Stay home.
Wow. I mean, I am impressed. Like, I've never heard like people saying, I want to live in Japan and I was born here and I want to stay here. That's incredible. I mean, maybe it is something you should be even proud of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Leeuwarden. I like what we have here. There's not a lot that I think that I would like to go away from, if you know what I mean.
what
Um,
what a patriotic guy.
Sorry?
What a patriotic guy.
I have a giant
Mhm.
flag of Leeuwarden on my wall, and I sing the anthem every morning before I get up. Nah, but I like Leeuwarden. What about you then? I guess you wanna live way somewhere else than Russia.
Oh, why did you make this conclusion? Wow.
Well, you've already been halfway around the world to study, so why work in the same country?
Well, yeah, I actually wanted to live in Switzerland.
Switzerland.
I'm so in love with this country, with the people there, with the life conditions, with the nature. And also Switzerland is extremely good at hospitality. So yeah, it is kind of my dream.
Nice.
But I'm thinking to do my master degree in Germany after my bachelor degree. So probably I will just settle down in Germany because I'm also in love with Germany. And what is also very important for me that now, to be honest, I'm tired a little bit of moving around and studying in different countries. So what I basically want is just to settle down and not experience something new. And Germany is so familiar, it feels like my second home. So
Yeah,
I
I get
think I
that.
will go to Germany. And I mean, I think if you have enough money, you can always travel to Switzerland.
That's true.
And
It's very close
yeah,
to Germany as well, so.
yeah, and also as you already mentioned, I'm not from European Union, and for me, it would be very difficult to settle down in Switzerland as well.
Oh, right, yeah, because Switzerland is a very popular country, right, for people to move to. So they are very strict with who they let in, right? Like
Yeah,
to
yeah, so
live there and work there, I mean.
yeah, yeah. So in order to get your permanent like residence permit, you need to stay there for 10 years.
Sheesh.
And last 2 years, you're not even allowed to move from one city to the other one.
What?
So
Okay.
yeah, it's very strict there. Like not like the city, I think province. Yeah, province or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah, my
Um,
uh, my aunt as well. She goes every year. She goes to a campsite as well in Switzerland with like a big
mm,
camper and stuff, and she's absolutely in love with it as well. She loves
yeah.
the view and she loves the people and everything that you just mentioned. She's very enthusiastic about as well. So I get that.
Except the
It's
prices, I guess.
yeah,
Uh,
they say it's a lot more expensive there as well.
yeah, it is, but I love it. It was so nice, and I had a solo travel again last year to Switzerland for 2 weeks, and it was so nice. I was just walking around in the city and I got to know just random people on the street. And then I had a cup of coffee with them in the cafe and I've never seen them again. But can you imagine how cool it is? You just talk to random people, you take a cup of tea or something, you talk to them and then you
Yeah,
leave and you never see each other. It is cool, I mean.
it's very cool because you get to know them, but you don't get to be stuck to them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You learn their stories and you just move on, I guess.
yeah, that's so great. What about you, Barney? Where do you want to live?
Um, I'm really thinking about Bali.
Wow.
Ooh,
So since
Mr.
since I was
Worldwide.
since I was going there, like through Grand Tour, you know, if I can pursue my freelance career, then it's like the perfect play. Not maybe not the perfect, but I want to believe that that's the
Yeah,
perfect place. Just like I can do anything like remotely. Just do my freelance work,
that's
or
true.
Oh,
Yeah.
anything like content creation or video editing, anything. Yeah, and then just go have a swim or go surfing or something.
That's cool, man.
oh.
So one day I'll visit you in Bali, and you'll be
Yeah, and
there
it's
on.
also really really cheap. So even if I'm like not that rich, even then I could still
Live comfortably.
afford to
Just
to live there,
that's
because there are like it's really interesting because there are like dormitories where you live together with a few people. You have like a capsule for your bed, but other than that, like you have like a living room and, for example, also a pool, together.
yeah.
But yeah, and
But
you
that
can just go into
that
the.
sounds more like a temporary living situation, not really permanent.
Yeah. I mean, of course, just until I don't have a proper family. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to get experience everything before
That's
I
true. Yeah, that's
settle
true.
down.
I mean, it's not bad if you, like you said, if you're just doing content creation and video editing and stuff. All you need is a laptop and a bed. So when you
Exactly.
can get a cheap bed in a hotel with a pool and it's always nice out, why not? It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Someday, Barney and Bali. So and in Germany then, where in Germany would you like to stay? Because I've been in the southern of Germany and it's so nice, with like the hills and all the forests and the rivers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I well, I'm thinking to have my internship in Berlin,
Hmm.
but I really like Frankfurt. So Frankfurt is kind of my favorite city, I guess. But I haven't been to München. Munich? Yeah, Munich.
Munich, yeah,
Yeah, Munich.
München, München.
Yeah.
But can you actually speak German then? Because you've been there so long and often.
Well, at the point when I was there for the last time, it was 3 years ago. When I left the school, my level was C1, so I was very fluent, and I also
Sheesh.
passed the international German exam. But from that time, of course, yeah, it's been a while, and I start forgetting German like extremely fast. And I'm not proud of it, but it is what happens to you when you don't practice the
Yeah,
language.
of course. But
Unfortunately.
isn't it like that when you sort of start it, you really easily pick it back up again? You just have to warm up, kind of, right?
Yes,
Or
yeah, yes, exactly. So
okay,
what I'm intending to do, like this is our last module, and in 4 weeks we will have vacation, hopefully. Yes.
hopefully.
Then yes, I would like to also get a tutor, German tutor, because I want to prepare myself for the other international German exam, which I kind of don't need, but I just want to do it. So
Okay.
yeah, I just feel like, and that's how I also want to brush up a little bit on my
Yeah,
knowledge. And also because since I want to do my internship in Germany and live in Germany again, I need it. So yeah,
that's true.
it has an advantage. Yeah,
Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen.
I love your
Something like that.
pronunciation.
But is it also very easy? Well, but easier to learn Dutch as well once you learn how to speak German because of the and all that stuff.
Oh, this is my favorite sound. How Groningen?
Groningen,
Yeah, this
Groningen,
one.
Schiermonnikoog, Maastricht, Den
So
Haag.
oh yeah, this one. Um, no, yes, it is much easier. That's true because I don't learn Dutch. Okay, I learned at the beginning, but then I quit it.
Ah,
Or I'm sorry. Yeah, because if I'm not going to stay here, then I will forget Dutch as well. And Dutch is
true,
not that popular language,
true.
so that cannot really help me in the future,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
German is also very much taught in Dutch schools, for kids and stuff, because the Netherlands does a lot of business with Germany, so it's
Yeah,
very important for a lot of businesses to learn German, because also a lot of German businesses, they much prefer to speak German when they're doing business, and they much more prefer to do business with people that can speak German. So
yeah.
there's a lot of business in the Netherlands that speak German just to do business with German companies, because else they would just say, well, we're going to do business with this other Dutch company that does speak German. So it's quite important as well here,
Yes,
even
I
though I can't
agree.
speak it.
Yeah, but like if you speak German, it is quite easy to learn Dutch because even so, I quit learning Dutch, but still I can understand kind of what people are talking about.
Mm,
Sometimes I can also read all the advertisements and understand what it is, and also the when I go to the supermarket, it is quite easy for
that's
me
true.
to orient myself there. Yeah.
So how difficult would it be for me to learn Russian?
Oh, don't even start, okay? No, just
Why?
kidding.
Is
No,
it
okay. Russian is very difficult.
okay?
Like when of course, when we study in school in Russia, we also have Russian, like as a
Mm-hmm.
lesson.
Yeah.
And I hated it so much because we have so many rules. It is just incredible.
Okay.
And I hated it a lot because you have to learn all the exceptions. And in Russian language, you have exceptions more than the rules. It is so stupid.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, but I know quite a few people who are very interested in learning Russian because it is something special, something
It's
different.
a cool language. Like every time I hear it, it just sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And
So
of course, I want to speak Russian like the bad guys on James Bond movies.
yeah, of course, everyone wants. But like if you're motivated enough, I think it is not a problem. You just need your motivation
Yeah.
and to get started and just keep up with the learning, and then you're going to be fine. Because people also laugh when you speak Russian. Because if you also go to Russia, not many people speak English that well.
Yeah,
So
I
it is
suppose.
going to be a challenge, of course.
That's cool. I only know, like the common gamer words like Barney just shouted.
Oh
And
my
na zdrowie, na zdrowie,
God, zdrowie, yeah.
na
When you say,
zdrowie.
yeah, yeah. Na
And
zdrowie.
what else is there?
Yeah, impressive.
Chort? Is that something?
Wow, yeah, it's like shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, hey, shit.
Chort.
Good job.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I'm learning. I'm learning.
But this is an interesting fact, like about me. It was 2 weeks ago or something.
Spas-
Spasiba.
Spasiba. Oh, thank God, you know some good words. Ah, great. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I posted on my Instagram a video, and I was swearing there, like saying some not very good words in English. And then my friend, he texted me, and he was like, "I've never heard you swearing."
What?
Yeah, but like people don't really know that I swear. Only very like close friends, they know it.
Okay.
But I do it on not that often and only in English. But I would never ever swear in Russian. I feel so bad about it.
I
Also,
actually, yeah.
also in German, but in English, kind of okay. You know, sometimes
Now that
okay.
you mention it, I've never heard you swear. That's, yeah, I mean, it's good, because I remember when I first started school on Stenden, I swear a lot, like a lot, and I actually had to sort of check myself to lessen it and be a bit more professional and a bit more business-like. So I had to teach myself to not swear as much. I still do it quite a lot, but I try to pay attention to it.
Yeah, so I don't know, some people they try to quit swearing, but at one point I think it is not that bad actually. I mean, you just express yourself, and if it
Yeah.
is not related like to any person, but you just do it because you feel like doing it, why not? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it
it, it,
doesn't
it
mean
it emphasizes a feeling, or how you
yeah,
feel about something.
yeah,
So
yeah. So that's fine. Yeah.
it's funny how the first thing you always learn from different languages is the swear words.
No, 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 no. Okay, maybe someone, but maybe other people, but it's not about me.
No, but I mean, like, well, not if you really want to learn it, but I mean, for example, if you go on vacation, or I bet that once you were like 15 and you went to Germany and went to school, there were kids asking you to tell them swear words in Russian to teach them that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time, always. Doesn't matter what country. Why are you saying Germany? I mean, it happens every time when I meet new
Exactly
people.
right.
But I don't swear. They're like, yeah, just pronounce. I just want to learn. I was like, go to Google Translate and check
Google
it
Translate.
yourself.
That's true.
Or,
Yeah.
or ask other Russians.
Ask
Yeah.
other Russians, but I don't know any other Russians.
Oh, you don't know any other Russians?
Not really. No. Well,
Oh,
one I think. Well, he's not really a Russian. He has like Russian heritage, but he is just a Dutch guy. But I think his parents are Russian.
oh, from Stenden. I think I know him. Maybe,
I'm not
maybe not.
sure. Ah, well, there's not many Russians I know. Just you. Like the best one or the closest one I know is you.
Oh my God, I'm honored.
You're my top Russian.
Oh my God. Thank you, thank
And
you.
Barney is
I
my
will put
top.
it on my CV.
Milan approves me as a Russian.
Yes,
Hell yes.
exactly.
And Barney is my favorite Romanian, right, Barney?
Romania.
Fuck yourself.
Oh my
No, I'm
God.
just kidding, man. Hungary,
But
Hungary.
yeah, I've never been to Hungary. I actually don't know. What about the Hungarian mentality? How it actually? I don't know. Maybe
Wait, you
Barney?
were saying what you don't know?
Yeah, or like the mentality of Hungarian people. How it feels like? What is the mentality of Hungarians?
Okay. Yeah, maybe later. I mean, it's a little bit longer discussion, so
Ah,
that we have time.
you want to go down the rabbit hole and get into the details some other time.
Just like our discussion, okay?
I mean, like Hungary is pretty open country, right? But in some parts it's pretty, like in the more rural parts maybe not, or how
What
should
do
I
you
say?
mean by open?
Like open-minded, to, for example, LGBTQT or stuff like that.
Oh.
Ah,
He's not sure about it. See?
I would say, it's like you have to count it as a Central European country, so
True.
a little bit worse than the Western ones,
Oh,
and
okay.
better than the Eastern ones.
Was it like mostly with those countries? It's people
Okay.
that are your age, for example, Barney, that are more, open and more progressive, and that mostly like the old babushkas, in the back of the in the back of the countries that are more conservative and used to their old ways,
Babushkas.
The uncle, the racist uncles.
Exactly. The
Oh my
racist
God.
uncle.
I like how you did it. You like babushka. Actually, not babushka, but babushka.
Babushka.
Okay. Yeah. And then you put s at the end, like plural of babushka. That's so funny.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
But the funny thing is that you don't even like. You first have to learn a fucking new alphabet.
Yeah,
Just
it's
starting the language,
it's so funny with the Russian alphabet when you see the letters. They're just like the reverse N and the reverse R and stuff like that. It's so funny.
But I mean, even if you learn only the alphabet, it is already cool. I mean, you can already impress some people. You can read in Russian. It is cool.
That'd be awesome if I could read in Russian. Like, I mean, I'm googling the Russian alphabet now, and it's just
Ah, okay. I mean, I also learned a Korean alphabet, and it is so cool. I mean, I can read in Korean. I mean, it is
awesome.
something I really enjoy.
Read in Korean, yeah. Common transliteration.
How's it going with Russian alphabet there?
Examples. Jeez, I
Oh my.
I don't even know. Like it it's so funny because the letters, they look like the letters I know, but they're not. Like there's this A which looks like A, the capital A, but
Yeah.
the top part is much longer with the two tiny legs on the bottom. And
Uh, you mean ah or
I
what?
guess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
B, V, fine, go, do, yes, your.
Almost. A, B, V, G, D, E, J, Z, I, K, L, M, N,
What?
Okay, this is the Russian alphabet. I just know.
That's approximate English equivalent here. So
Ah. Mm,
A, B,
good.
v, va,
What was it? I'm sorry.
A, B,
Oh
fine,
yeah.
go, do, yes, your,
Yes.
ye.
Uh,
Uh,
yo. I think you mean yo.
yeah, yo. J,
Yeah.
je, z, z,
Yeah.
I,
А где ее же за я?
Y, I, nee, I, J, oi, yo, oi. I,
И.
okay. And L and no.
Yeah. We understand. We see. Okay.
It's so funny.
Cool.
Common translate. Like, so, jeez, I'm okay. I'm gonna try to. Next time we speak, I'm gonna introduce myself in Russian.
Oh my God. Okay. Everyone heard it? Great. Everyone notice. Okay.
Noted.
Noted.
Just like hello, my name is Milan in Russian. Next time.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be the bad guy in James Bond.
Yeah.
So, is it actually true that, like, usually when you see movies and there's Russians, they always speak like this, with like this very heavy Russian accent? Is it, is this like accurate, or is this just Hollywood nonsense
Oh,
when they speak English?
to be honest, I think it is pretty difficult for me to answer to this
Okay.
question because I don't notice this accent, because I'm Russian. It is kind of natural to me.
That's true, yeah.
They speak, so,
You're neutral to it.
but I don't know. How do you find my accent?
Well, not very stereotypical, if you know what I mean. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
okay.
it's, I guess you wouldn't really say that you're necessarily Russian. Slightly Eastern European, I guess, but not very clear in any particular country. Same with Barney. It's so funny,
That's
like
a good compliment. Thank you.
with accents and stuff. I mean, do you notice my accent? Because I'm Dutch, but for
No,
my
I'm actually impressed how good Dutch people can speak English. So
yeah,
that's maybe your education. I don't know.
yeah, it's taught at a very early age. And another thing that's very common here, that's not very common in other countries, is that a lot of shows are just shown in English with Dutch subtitles, and not like dubbed with Dutch language. So every single series you see on TV, they're English speaking with Dutch subtitles. It's very easy to learn English because it's not like, copied over with Dutch language, which in a lot of countries, like for example France and Germany, a lot of TV shows are dubbed into French and German. So it really
Mm-hmm.
helps younger kids and people to learn English.
Yeah, that's great. I think it is very cool.
That's the main
Yeah.
reason I spoke English at a very young age was by playing a lot of games and watching films and TV and stuff. It really helped me speak English. So I guess if I should just put all my games and all my movies in Russian, and then in a year I'll probably learn some Russian.
Yeah, just do it. Why not? Yeah.
I won't understand anything they're saying, but I'll just read the subtitles.
But I can see you're really into gaming, right?
Yeah, kind
So
of.
you like that. That's great. I mean, I also played a lot when I was younger. I'm still young. I mean,
When I was younger.
yeah, not like in childhood, but when I was like, I don't know, when I was 15, I still played quite a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
But we also have a game coming, right? Like game night or something?
Well, yeah, we have a game night. We try to host every 1 or 2 weeks or something. We want to play the Jackbox Party Pack. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
Oh,
it's
no.
it's sort of a party game that you can easily stream and play. And yeah, we try to get people in the Discord and host that as well. But what's a game, for example, that you've played? Because you said you played games when you were younger. Do you have any names of games that you played?
Yes, Stalker.
Stalker.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool.
I love shooting games with zombies and all these creatures,
Yeah, I know Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, and Call of Pripyat.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones.
They're
Love
they're
everything.
very, very famous games. They're like
Yeah.
cult classic games because they're made in Russia, right? As well, I think.
Oh, maybe not sure,
I think
but
they actually are. Yeah, they're from a
yeah,
Russian studio.
yeah,
And
because Pripyat is actually Ukraine, I guess.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Awesome. We'll talk about more about the games some other time. Because I've played a
Yeah.
lot of Stalker as well. The atmosphere in the game is really cool. It's pretty spooky
Yes.
sometimes.
But when I played those games, I was kind of small. I was still a child, and every time when I saw a horrible, ugly creature, I was screaming in their apartment. Oh my
Nice.
God!
But
Yeah.
you kept on playing.
Yeah, of course, because it's like it is addictive. I would say, you just want to keep going. Like I need to kill him.
You faced your fears as a child, and that's why you're such a strong
Yeah.
businesswoman now. Nice.
You
Well,
know.
I guess this almost wraps up our episode now. Barney, do you have any last statement for our fans?
Not really. I really enjoyed today's podcast. It was
Yeah,
really informational and useful one. So
it was pretty cool having a
yeah.
guest. It sort of got us out our routine as well because Barney, frankly, I'm sick and tired of hearing you all the time.
Oh my God.
So
Yes. So thank you, Ina.
how did you
Yeah,
find it, Ina?
Thank you very much for this invitation. I found it incredibly cool, to be honest. I enjoyed a lot talking with you guys, and I think we discussed a lot of things, also pretty useful things. And maybe people can even learn something from my story. I don't know. But
yeah.
keep going. It is a good concept, and I think people will love it.
Hell
Yeah.
yes. We'll have some more guests, and we'll probably see you another time on the podcast.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Bye bye.
See you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay. Don't hang up yet. That was just for the that was just for the podcast, the recording.